how do you incorporate this type of data? So, yeah, I see why you would be confused.
Yeah.
What I really just wanted to see was this, right? So you have your ROE here, and you have your own firm here, and competitor 1, competitor 2, competitor 3, right?
Okay.
And here you had it over time, right? So here you had 17, 16, 13, 14, 17, 18, and on, right?
Okay.
So if you were just to take for the year 2013, okay, in that particular year, this is the cross section.
Okay.
So in other words, the way you computed the time series, you went this way, right? You say, hey, look at my own company graph. This is what you were graphing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you did the average of those three to do this is how this graph came into being, right? So what I'm saying is, if you go to the cross section, then you're going to see, hey, this particular year, in 2013, right?
Yeah.
Some people will do this. Some people will just graph. Okay, so my own firm had this much market share.
Okay.
And then this year, the industry was a little bit bigger, and we lost a little bit more market share. Whatever this is, right? And then the following year, the industry has gone a little bit bigger. We gained a little bit more market share. Now we have this much. Okay?
So we have something like that.
Yeah.
Or it could be something like it. The percentiles are there to simply tell you the rest of the firm's debt, ROE, everything else like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you stand, right? Do you have like a real problem with debt or not a problem at all?
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily, well, you have to show me 27th, 25th percentile, whatnot. That's really more for you to think about. But this is what the difference is, right? So the cross section will simply be within the same year, how are things developing?
So something like this wasn't for debt, but just like you can like see how Chipotle, we tried to make the size like equate to,
Beautiful.
This is for revenue, so it's not
Beautiful.
But something like this. Okay.
And I've seen students do this before, and it looks beautiful because in a graph like this, I mean, you don't have to show me 44 graphs, but some of the more important ones in which you're communicating information with your market share going up and down, you'll see a blip because of when they kill people almost and kill people, right? And stuff happens, right?
Yeah.
But all of this is relevant data for you to go forward, and this is the expected ones, right?
Okay.
I love this.
So what we did in this one, we only went up to 2016 because one of our best comps turned into what got purchased.
So what?
So
when we took Panera out, then it really skewed the graph because it gave Chipotle a lot more market share, and so that was like it like didn't look right. So we took it out. Okay.
Makes sense. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah. Yep.
So is it okay if we just have 2016, or should we try to?
It is, or you can recompute 2017, but as if Panera never existed.
Okay.
So, for example, if this would have been Panera now, this was last year, and they had a quarter of the market, whatever it is, a big percentage, right?
Yeah.
And now that they're not there, just compute everything out of the 75%.
Okay, and that's
In other
okay,
words,
just to kind of assume.
It's not like Chipotle took over Panera's market share, and market share for Panera went to zero.
Yeah.
They still have a very similar market share, maybe smaller.
Because Panera in all of these is hovering right around like a quarter of the market
Oh, it
share.
is, okay.
So,
I was just a few guess. So, red is Panera? No.
Panera is purple.
Oh, okay.
So it's like 26, 24, 25. So it's always like right around a quarter of the market share. It's just I did make a graph that had Panera out, and it just didn't make any sense because it made
So
Chipotle.
why wouldn't you retain Panera even though they were bought out?
What?
Why wouldn't you keep Panera even though they were bought out?
Why would we keep it?
Why wouldn't you keep it?
Just because we didn't have the data. But is it okay if we were to estimate their market share?
You can just have a little asterisk. Say, hey, they were bought out.
Yeah.
They were probably very similar to last year.
Okay.
Because otherwise people will look at, oh, why did you stop at 2016? But I see your point.
Okay.
I wasn't too bad.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we have some more.
Yes. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just
Will you?
finished
I'm
and I named
recording
this
So, like,
equal to
can you, like,
three things,
bring up
and
the-
I made this equal to this.
The messages
But now it's
to
showing
where
the price,
the
like,
questions
it's
are at.
really
Yeah, I don't
cheap.
Or
have
you
it on my
It'll go from like
grab it.
205 to
Sorry.
665.
I don't want to like mess this up.
Is that normal? That's
Yeah.
like a huge range.
So, do me here.
Sectional?
Yeah.
Go to
Make
number
sure
1.
FCFE is the same as FCF.
Select all of that all the way
Sensitivity
through the
analysis.
revenue.
We do have
all the way
Should we put
down.
like?
So
Should we do? Is it asking if we should do like more sensitivity analysis?
But yeah,
If we need to have it on the slide, and I think she just wanted us to look at it.
Yeah, we'll just show them it.
shift.
We might
So we need to ask
have it.
about
That's it.
SCF
Now right click and clear content.
with no debt.
Yeah.
Because we basically so.
All right. Now let's go back up to here.
Yeah.
To number 1.
Kind of like said, it was kind of the same.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And go back on it. Now go to fill. Go series. Go series column.
So top value 1,000.
Do 5,000. No. Go column. Unless it goes north. Yep. Perfect. Now go one above. Look this guy. Now again, shift. Walk it all the way to the right. No, not too much. Just with price. There you go. And all the way down. Where's that? Yep. Now let's go data.
Data.
So I blocked this number from Arizona, and they keep calling me from a slightly different number. Look at that.
Mine does that too. I don't know why. They've gotten smarter than me.
I'll keep blocking.
ASC wants more money out of you, or what?
No. This is bank. I haven't lived there in over 10 years. What are you talking about? I have to change my number now. Awesome. Go what if? You know what to do now. Data table. On the bottom one, right click somewhere empty. Nope. On the bottom one, click it. There you go. Okay, that. It's gonna take a little while to compute. It's gonna show you something where it's computing. Does it say the percentages? Oh yeah. Awesome. Okay. And now we need to have first of all, you have to read those, right?
Okay.
Because that would be equal average the whole thing.
Yeah.
You have to have a price here as well. So just recompute those things.
Okay. Is it normal that this range, like, is 335? Like, is that normal?
Yeah, your inputs are showing the negative price. That's
Yeah. Should I be worried about that?
I don't know, show me the result. That's why we did 5,000 because it's going to be 1,000 could give you a lot of weird stuff. Question, sir.
We're together. So
Yeah.
what was it about the FCF? So we're doing we're trying to computate FCFE, and we were kind of asking if it was how similar it was if a firm had no debt. I don't know. Am I wording that right? Do you know?
Yeah, so if we're doing FCFE and Chipotle has no debt, is that basically calculating just FCF or like
It's
free
not
cash
quite.
flow to the firm?
It's not quite, right?
Okay.
So what's the difference between FCFE
Net borrowing.
and FCFF?
Yeah, net borrowing.
FCFE has it's what you subtract net borrowing or
And here you add interest up to. There's no debt, there won't be any of that, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that component will be the same, right?
Okay. Yeah, that's just what we were wondering. But and then we ran a sensitivity analysis, but we weren't sure if we needed to include it on our slide or
You probably should.
if it looks right.
You
Okay.
probably should.
So is it okay if we're doing sensitivity analysis rather than Monte Carlo?
They're both sensitivity analysis,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
It's just this is a data table, and then Monte Carlo is a more sophisticated way of doing the same thing, where you can have more variables.
Okay.
That is your choice, right? What you end up doing and how you present it and whatever else, right?
Yeah. So what we did is for this sensitivity analysis, I don't know if we may or may not do another one. Basically, just did the growth rate for the transitional period and then the perpetuity. Like, do you think that's adequate?
I don't think that's enough, right? Because I think that's why we did Monte Carlo, because there is a lot of different moving parts.
Yeah.
So here you're saying, hey, all else equal, and there's like 15 variables in your model. It's like, well, maybe this growth changes and this growth, what happens to the rest? But what happens if a lot, you could literally have 10 different variables in Monte Carlo and be just fine.
Yeah.
And allow them to vary at the same time.
Okay. So we'll work on
So,
that.
and here, if you're doing two, don't do just two growth rates. Do a growth rate for the perpetuity and a discount rate or something like that, because those are the two things that are particularly sticky in the terminal value computation.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And I don't know, what else do we have?
Is it necessary to have the pictures of us on the slide?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
Cool.
Just of you. The rest of the team, just the team captain. The rest, no.
Yeah. He's got a good one. Look. Real sharp.
Throw me on
So,
that.
so you're just gonna like a Mickey Mouse or something? What do you call it? Like this? I don't know how to do Mickey well enough. Or we can do Minnie. I don't know.
Mini.
I don't know how to do Minnie.
I think we'll just like have just Randall.
Good.
Okay.
Alright.
Why
Do the
not?
whole slide.
Why not?
Yeah.
Alright, awesome.
Is there,
Good
can
then.
you just check it over?
Something's in the check. Seems like you guys built a deck.
Yeah, so is it okay, like, we tried to, like,
Oh, yeah,
keep
this
it
is-
pretty minimal, but we weren't sure how to, like, present a recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you would suggest adding? We
Yes,
didn't-
football field.
So we have the football field.
We have it down. Do we want it,
Up to you guys. Right?
So like, is it okay if our range for the football field is literally $250 to $515?
That's not tight, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah. Like,
So-
because when we started doing research for this company, it was $330, and then last night we were doing it, and it was $420. So it's a little tough.
It's a little wild ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Jeez, that's a big swing.
Yeah.
It's almost like Tesla.
Yeah,
So, like,
it's been really volatile recently.
It's like so like
Wow.
ultimately our
It's 20%.
Yeah.
our recommendation is ultimately just like to hold. Like, so if you're saying hold, does that mean like if someone who doesn't have the stock just like kind of just stay away from it? Yeah. And then if you have it, hold it. Don't sell it. Okay.
What is the intrinsic value?
415?
We got
416. And then
And the actual is 420.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hold.
Yeah. Because they are making a lot of strides, and there's a lot of optimism with the new CEO, but there is a lot still going on with the food scandal.
whatever.
So there's just a lot going on with it.
Alright. Good job.
So I think that might be it.
Yeah, I think we're about good then.
Just remember, whenever you're presenting the comps, tell us why you pick those comps and how are they comps.
Yeah.
Not just because they're in the same industry, but the financial metrics that will justify
Yeah.
the inclusion.
And we did have like
Margin.
kind of a hard time picking the comps for Chipotle, so is that appropriate to talk about?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. I think a lot of students will have a tough time, otherwise you haven't done a good enough job.
Yeah.
Just because they look at the same company in the same industry doesn't mean much.
Yeah.
They don't, because within the industry they all grow differently.
Yeah.
Like this guy grows like mad. This one's there very happy not to grow at all, but has a major market share. Right? They're not comps. You know,
Yeah.
oh, we do the same thing. We compete for the same customers. Yeah, but this guy's going 3 times you.
So I think for comps, what we were looking at mostly was the debt to equity ratio. Should we look more at like operating profit margins?
Of course, your profit margins are number one thing.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
They have to be growing the similar way.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're looking at apples and oranges.
And what about if Chipotle? So the restaurant industry or fast casual, they're very reluctant to increase prices. And what Chipotle just did was increase all their menu prices by 5%, and that's kind of attributing to more revenue. So I don't know where I'm really going with it, but
It's kind of hard to like find like not everybody's doing that, which made it kind of tricky.
Starbucks is.
We have Starbucks as a comp.
Yeah.
Starbucks is doing that. It's a
Okay.
very similar business model.
Yeah.
So is it okay if we're doing it's okay if we're doing like Starbucks with their drinks too compared to
Yeah.
just Chipotle?
I mean, it doesn't even have to be the same industry, right?
Oh, really?
Because we were worried
Okay.
maybe on the surface it'd be like, why would you pick Starbucks? Like that's not Chipotle at all. But like it was like the business model and that kind of stuff that we were worried that wouldn't come across like when we were presenting it.
No, you'll see other teams, airlines picking cruises, consumer cruises,
Yeah.
I guess. as a comp because they need to be growing similarly. Their financial metrics have to be similar. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time, really, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's in the same industry, one grows twice as fast as you are, and you're calling them a comp. Well, I want to be priced like that too. Yeah, but you're not growing as fast as much. So
Yeah.
good luck. It's gonna pull your comp to the right valuation. It's nonsensical, right?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Cool.
I think
Yeah.
we're
That's it.
set
Awesome.
then. Thank you.